Right now, bond is set for the man accused of shooting and killing a UW-Whitewater student. It happened just days before today's start of the academic year. We'll have reaction from the judge and students on campus as well. Plus, we look at how the Madison School District handled the start of the school year there and a new busing system. And later, both the Harris and Trump campaigns take a break from the trail but are still working to get their messages out. This as they both prepare for next week's debate. It's all ahead on News 3 Now at 10. Well, good evening. Thanks for joining us. A 23-year-old man is in custody tonight. It's in connection to the deadly shooting of a 21-year-old UW-Whitewater student. Chad Richards is facing several charges, and that includes first-degree murder. Investigators determined an altercation occurred before the shooting. Police say he and the victim, Kara Welsh, knew each other. Richards was listed on the UW-Whitewater wrestling team back in the 2021-22 season. He has no prior convictions for any violent crimes. Today in court, the judge ordered Richards be held on a $1 million bond.
Given the gravity of this offense, it is the most grave offense that can be charged in the state of Wisconsin and carries with it a life imprisonment.
Meanwhile, it was the first day of classes at UW-Whitewater. News 3 Now spoke with some students and got a mix of responses. Some students say they are relieved the suspect is in custody. Others say they are still simply trying to process what just happened.
Yeah, definitely some grief happening. I mean, very sad time. I mean, it's just really heartbreaking to see that happen and hear about it.
We reached out to UW-Whitewater for comment. They sent us an email that reads in part, quote, "Our coaches and players have decided that they will not be speaking publicly at this time. We are focused on providing outreach and support to our students, faculty, and staff." Madison police are investigating after a man was beaten and dragged from a vehicle he was sleeping in this morning. Officers were called to the 600 block of East Washington Avenue at about 4:30 for what was initially reported as a man being beaten to death. The caller reported that she and a man were sleeping in a car when three men approached, smashed the back window, dragged the man from the car. As officers started searching for him, he returned to the scene, but police say he declined to give any information to officers other than to simply ask for an ambulance. Officers are now reviewing video evidence from the scene. Platteville police say they are investigating after human remains were discovered. Officers say two people found what they believe to be human remains in a heavily wooded area in the city yesterday. Law enforcement have now confirmed those remains are an unidentified body. Police are now trying to identify that individual and what led to the death. If you have any information, you're asked to contact Platteville Police Department. Turning now to weather. The comfortable temperatures continue. A check of your first warn forecast. Here's meteorologist Jacob Madison. Jacob?
Yeah, it was another very nice day across the area. Temperatures were comfortably in the 60s. Right now, it definitely feels very comfortable as well. 61 degrees in Madison. Clear skies, calm wind, humidity just around 75%. Pretty normal conditions, maybe a little chilly compared to normal, but still very comfortable. It is in the 50s in the western portion of Dane County, and a lot of the area actually already dropping into the 50s with a few locations hanging on to the lower 60s. It's going to be another chilly night, so during the morning tomorrow, we are going to see temperatures in the 50s and 60s again, but afternoon highs are going to possibly reach 80. Now, we are going to see some patchy fog during the morning hours, but the fog not going to be a big issue. Now, looking at the forecast throughout the day, as I mentioned, 50s in the morning, but upper 70s, maybe even lower 80s at points during the afternoon, and we also are expecting complete sunshine. Now, we do have a chance of rain on Thursday, followed by some of the coolest air we've seen since May. I'll talk more in detail about that coming up a bit later.
All right, Jacob, thank you. Labor Day has come and gone now. That means back to school time for many kids in the 608 this week.
It feels good.
It feels good to be at school?
Yeah.
Who's your teacher?
Misty Christina.
And what do you know about your teacher?
That she's very kind.
Awesome. Well, hey, you have a wonderful first day.
Well, that was 5-year-old Lily Olson. We talked to her. She was heading in for her first day of school at Hegel Elementary in Madison this morning. Teachers and staff went all out in welcoming families there bright and early today, and district leaders say they're ready to make it the best school year yet with some advice for parents as well.
We want our parents to know that we are here to be partners with them, to really take on and educate their students. We know that you are sending them here to be loved on, and that is exactly what we want to do for them.
The students in 4K, kindergarten, 6th and 9th grades all return to school in the MMSD today, with the rest back in the classroom starting tomorrow. And with the return of school, families are warming up to some new routines and adjusting to altered bus routes. MMSD serves more than 25,000 students in 52 schools. In order for them to get to class on time, the district has bus drivers from First Student help children get to and from school. And last year, the district experienced a shortage in bus drivers and had to alter school hours, which threw many families and staff members out of their routines. As they kick off the new school year, though, the district is expecting a smoother start to bus rollout compared to a year ago.
The first couple of weeks are always difficult, right? New routes, new students, they may get on the wrong bus or not know exactly where it's going to go. But I know this much, we are going to communicate and we are going to have high expectations to ensure we get students to and from school or in an orderly way.
Some Madison district teachers say there are fewer bus stops and more drivers on staff now. That makes the routes go more quickly, but then some students have to walk further to get to those stops. President Biden returning to Wisconsin on Thursday. He'll be speaking in Westby. That's about 40 minutes outside of La Crosse, to the southeast of La Crosse, and there the president is expected to highlight how his Investing in America agenda is benefiting communities all across the state. The location and exact time of his remarks are still unknown, but he's expected to talk sometime in the afternoon hours, and this will be the president's first visit to the Badger State since visiting Madison before he ended his campaign back in July. Also returning to Wisconsin this week, former President Donald Trump set to attend a rally in Mosinee near Wausau on Saturday. This is after he held a town hall in La Crosse last week. Meanwhile, a number of top Republican surrogates will visit Milwaukee on Thursday. They'll attend a town hall organized by the Trump-Vance campaign, and that list includes former Wisconsin Governor Tommy Thompson, U.S. Representative Brian Stile, as well as commentator Monica Crowley. Well, Election Day is now just 9 weeks away, and the post-Labor Day sprint is on. Top of mind for both candidates, the economy. Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump are set to tout dueling economic plans this week, as a recent CBS Battleground tracker shows just how tight the race is in the 7 states that could decide the race. CBS's Robert Costa has more from Washington.
The final sprint toward Election Day has begun.
Are you ready to make your voices heard?
Get the hell out to vote.
Both campaigns are laser focused on next Tuesday's debate in Philadelphia, a crucial moment that could shake up a close race. CBS News Battleground analysis shows every key swing state very tight. And with mail ballots going out to voters as soon as Friday and early in-person voting starting September 20th, the debate could have an outsized impact.
I look forward to the debate with her.
Meanwhile, some Trump allies see little political upside in his barrage of personal attacks.
She's a defective person, and we don't need another defective person as president of the United States.
South Carolina Republican Lindsey Graham arguing in today's New York Times that Trump needs to focus on policy, not barbs.
When unions are strong, America is strong.
Vice President Harris and her running mate Tim Walz have been hitting a populist note as they court working voters and cast Trump as an ally of big business, releasing a new ad in battleground states today.
Trump is focused on giving them tax cuts, but Kamala Harris is focused on you.
Trump is pushing to extend the tax cuts he and Republicans enacted years ago, and will deliver a speech Thursday in New York about his plans. Meanwhile, the campaign soundtrack today got a scratch after a judge blocked Trump from using Hold On, I'm Comin', the soul hit co-written by the late Isaac Hayes, following legal pressure from Hayes' family.
The battle over music, however, pales in comparison to the battle over the economy. Today, Harris unveiled her own economic ideas, pledging to push for more federal tax incentives for small businesses should she win the White House. That includes a tenfold increase in the deduction for startup expenses, going from $5,000 to $50,000. Robert Costa, CBS News, Washington.
Meanwhile, new advertising numbers are shedding some insight into the millions of dollars being spent here in Wisconsin. Here's what the spending breakdown looks like for the month of August alone. The Harris campaign outspending the Trump campaign across the airwaves nationally, but here in Wisconsin, Donald Trump outspending the Democratic candidate Kamala Harris by about $1 million. This is all against the backdrop of Wisconsin playing a critical role in this fall's presidential election. Here's political science professor Anthony Chergosky.
Now, Harris has expanded the map from where the map was with Biden in the campaign. During the final stages of Joe Biden's presidential campaign, he was going all in on Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. Those 3 states remain absolutely critical, but Harris has expanded the map to make some other states competitive, including North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, and Nevada.
Now, as we look back at August of 2020, as Chergosky mentioned, it's a little bit of a starker picture. We saw the Biden campaign outspend Donald Trump nationally by a much larger margin, and the Democratic ticket outspent Republicans in the Badger State as well. Dane County offering its residents 2 public hearings for the 2025 Dane County budget. The hearings will be held on September 11th and 12th, 6 p.m. Half of the departments will present their budget requests at one meeting, and the other half will present at the other. Residents will have the option to speak both virtually and also in person. Members of the public attending virtually are required to register by 5:30 p.m. You can find a list of when each department will give its presentation at channel3000.com. And still ahead on News 3 Now at 10, Jacob returns. A complete look at your forecast. Could rain be on the way Thursday? Plus, the Green Bay community getting ready for the upcoming football season with an annual tradition just across the street from Lambeau Field. What they decided on for this year's theme. Stay with us.
Women need to pay close attention
to what Eric Hovde says about access to abortion.
Hovde's all in about opposing reproductive rights.
I am totally opposed to abortion.
And he wanted Roe overturned.
Do you think Roe versus Wade should be overturned?
Yes. So Eric Hovde is okay with politicians overruling decisions of doctors like me.
My patients worry about what Hovde will take away next.
A vote for Eric Hovde means we'll lose even more control over our lives.
Women Vote is responsible for the content of this ad.
They produced yacht rock hits that defined an era. It's Ambrosia. Performing live October 12th at Ho Chunk Gaming, Wisconsin Dells. With special guest John Ford Coley. Tickets are on sale now through Ticketmaster. Soft rock that rocked the yacht. Ambrosia, John Ford Coley, October 12th at Ho Chunk Gaming, Wisconsin Dells.
Shop from the largest selection of Chevy trucks and SUVs in Wisconsin at Bergstrom Chevrolet. All with Bergstrom's negotiation-free upfront pricing, including our exclusive 7-day price protection and money-back guarantees. Stop in or shop and purchase at BergstromChevrolet.com.
Arby's is full of choices. Quick, you can get your favorite stuff 3 for $5. Incredible value for a limited time. Reach in and eat whatever you grab. Arby's, we have the meats.
With Sweeto Metal Roofing, you get quality metal roofs installed by the best in the business. A metal roof means no fading, no storm repairs, true sustainability, and lower energy bills.
Sweeto Metal Roofing, the last roof you'll ever need.
You work hard enough. Take a load off this Labor Day with new appliances from Brothers Maine. Celebrate the holiday with unbeatable deals on top brands like GE Appliances, Cafe, Hotpoint, and Haier. Don't miss out. Shop the Labor Day sale at Brothers Maine today.
Action! Get up to 60% off list prices on hundreds of items at the huge Labor Day sale at Slumberland Furniture.
Hurry, it's the final days. Just $3.95 to shake up your living room with a fresh new look. Get this power recliner for a steal, an upholster bed in 2 colors, or a super padded, family-friendly reclining sectional. And of course, totally free doorstep shipping with no minimum.
Up to 60% off at the huge Labor Day sale at Slumberland Furniture. Do not miss this one.
I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message.
There's a side of Eric Hovde you might not know. In his 20s, he was diagnosed with MS, and in that moment, his life and priorities changed. Eric started Hovde Homes. Hovde Homes rescue abandoned children from sex trafficking and slavery. For children who never experienced real love, Hovde Homes offer the love, care, and support they need to heal. MS changed Eric's life, and thousands of children are alive today because of it.
Moving forward in your community, lending helping hands, spotlighting the people, telling the stories, warning you first. Your local news source. For nearly 70 years, News 3 Now, moving forward. You're watching News 3 Now at 10, moving forward.
Welcome back. DirecTV is offering some compensation to customers as the blackout of Disney-owned channels stretches into a third day now. The company offering credits of at least $20 to customers who have DirecTV, DirecTV Stream, and Uverse services. But customers won't receive it automatically. They have to go to a website and apply for it. On Sunday, Disney pulled ESPN and other cable channels it owns from the DirecTV lineup after the two companies failed to reach a new distribution deal. The stations include Freeform, FX, and local ABC affiliates. The outage affects 11 million subscribers. In Wisconsin, fans geared up for the start of football season with the annual painting of the original Green Bay Packers fence. The painting is a Labor Day tradition that the homeowner, Fred Harsh, carried on for decades. Since his passing in 2022, his family and friends have kept the tradition going. Emily Byer shows us this year's slogan.
I heard that they were doing something, but I think it really, it's great that they tied in the draft and, kind of into the end of my tenure. I think people are calling it my swan song. So.
The original Packers fence along Lombardi Avenue, getting its annual paint job by the Friends of Fred Harsh and the community. This year it reads, Draft Dreams on Murphy's Turf.
We wanted to bring the draft in addition with Mark Murphy as a thank you to Mark and all that he's done for us, really, and the community. He's been wonderful to the Packers.
A play on Green Bay hosted the 2025 NFL Draft and the man who worked hard with community leaders to make it happen.
It's really very rewarding, just knowing how much work it took to get the draft to come here, and I know people in the community are really appreciative.
The original Packers fence started in 1984 by the previous owners. Fred Harsh would continue that tradition, ultimately becoming his legacy after his passing in 2022.
And I know Fred would be very pleased if he saw the outpouring here, but no, it's tremendous. It's just a great tradition, and not only does it grown over the years, but you look up and down the street, there's a lot of fences, so Fred was on to something.
It's kind of cool to get out here today to experience this awesome tradition.
Friends of Fred, John Jeckham, and his wife Stephanie and two boys, Simon and Jason, taking part in the tradition for the first time.
Hopefully they keep going, year after year, and someday they'll be able to bring their kids here.
That's what our hope is. We want to keep this a fan tradition. We're not looking for professional painters. Young, old, you're all welcome to help us paint this fence.
Making the Labor Day tradition all about Packers fans coming together to support a team they love and continue to honor a beloved friend for years to come. And although it's his last year as CEO and president, it's likely not the last you'll see of Mark Murphy.
If I'm invited, I'll be here.
Now, the Packers' first game of the season will be a long way from Green Bay. They'll face the Philadelphia Eagles in Brazil on Friday. It is the NFL's first ever game in South America. Temperatures are warming up, but we could be in for a big cool down this weekend. Jacob now with a complete forecast.
Thanks, Eric. And looking at the three things you need to know, the warm up for the next couple of days will only reach the lower 80s, but still above average for this time of the year. We are expecting some thunderstorms Thursday evening and overnight with chilly temperatures expected over the weekend. Now, first, let's take a look at the forecast for tomorrow. Very quiet, plenty of sunshine. Highs will be right around 80 degrees, upper 70s, lower 80s, pretty similar. Another quiet day, although it will be a few degrees warmer compared to today. But looking at the precipitation forecast, obviously, we are going to be dry tomorrow. As I talked about, we're going to see just about complete sunshine, barely any clouds in the sky. Thursday is when we are going to see some of that rain move in. The further north and northwest you're located, the earlier you will see that rain, and it will continue to push to the south and east. Now, we're not expecting very heavy rain for a long period of time across our area, but we definitely could see some pockets of heavy rainfall at times. Now, it's not expected to last very long, and it's also at this point in time not expected to be severe. Now, some of the models are a little bit different in terms of the timing of the rainfall. We could see some of that rain in the evening. Other models are suggesting we could see the rain in the afternoon, but don't be surprised afternoon or evening if you do see some of those showers, but it still looks like northwest will see it earlier and southeast will see it a bit later. Now, it is expected to be dry by the later overnight hours, and then as we get into Friday, we could see some light showers in the morning, maybe some isolated showers later in the day, but we're not expecting much rainfall at all on Friday. And really, we're not expecting much rain rain after that either. So looking at the total precipitation, again, the most rain will be off to the north and west. The storm will dissipate a little bit as it pushes southeast, but we're still expecting rain for pretty much all of southern Wisconsin. We'll see about 1/4 of an inch to a 1/2 inch across the area for the most part. Again, a few areas could see up to an inch of rainfall, but again, at this point in time, we're not expecting severe weather. Now, beyond that, we're really not going to see much rainfall. We are expecting dry conditions over the weekend and for all of next week. We also are expecting dry conditions, and we're starting to get to that point in terms of how much precipitation we've seen where we could start to see, we could use some of that rainfall. Now we had a very wet July, but August was below average, and now we are starting to see some areas develop abnormally dry conditions on the latest drought monitor. Now this technically isn't labeled as a drought yet, but with the trend that we're going to see with fairly dry conditions over the next 10 to 15 days, we could start to see some drought conditions form across Wisconsin. Now, the other story, at least especially in the near future, is take a look at these temperatures over the weekend. Highs will be in the lower 60s on Saturday, 60s again on Sunday. Now, temperatures are going to warm up, but it's certainly going to feel like fall over the weekend. And we are likely going to see the coldest temperatures that we've seen since early May. The forecast high on Saturday is 63. The last time the high was that cool or cooler was May 9th, which was over 118 or over 100 days ago, 118 days to be specific. So it's definitely going to feel like fall over the weekend. But as I mentioned, those temperatures are going to warm back up a little bit. By the end of next week, we'll be back in the upper 70s and lower 80s. But really, we are not expecting any precipitation after maybe some light rain on Friday. Could see a few light sprinkles here and there, but nothing much. And that rain on Thursday, not expected to amount to much. Again, we could see some pockets of heavy rainfall, but not expecting a lot of severe weather, and it shouldn't last too long for each individual location. So fairly dry conditions with kind of a roller coaster of temperatures over the next 10 days.
And still to come in sports, the Wisconsin true freshman cornerback that's already making a big impact. Next on News 3 Now.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Building up the middle class will be a defining goal of my presidency.
She'll do it with new ideas to make middle-class life more affordable. New caps on the price of medicine. New investments in clean energy to bring down costs for families. And while Trump will cut taxes for the super rich, she'll cut taxes for the rest of us. A stronger middle class. A future we can afford. LCB Victory Fund and FF PAC are responsible for the content of this ad.
The Make It Ford Summer Sales Event is on. Amazing offers and a great selection of the best-selling trucks in America for 47 years. Ford F-Series, gas, hybrid, or all-electric. These are the deals you've been waiting for. So don't wait. Make it Ford. Make it yours. Make it now. Make it Flex Buy on a new Ford F-150 and get 0.9% APR financing for 66 months plus $2,000 Flex Buy cash only at your local Wisconsin Ford dealer.
At RG Heating and Air Conditioning, our promise to you is 100% satisfaction guaranteed. Guaranteed service, repairs, and replacements. Installing quality Trane equipment. Trust your home with RG Heating and AC.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Everyday prices are too high. Food, rent, gas, back to school clothes. That is called Bidenomics. A loaf of bread costs 50% more today. Ground beef is up almost 50%. There's not much left at the end of the month. Bidenomics is working. The price of housing has gone up. It feels so hard to just be able to get ahead. And we are very proud of Bidenomics.
We're cranking up the voltage, Wisconsin. Lottery retailers all around the state are lighting up with the latest limited time offer. It's Badger 5, 5 will get you 6. During the month of September, players who buy a $5 or greater Badger 5 ticket will receive a bonus ticket for the next drawing of Badger 5. This electric offer is only available for a limited time and only at Wisconsin lottery retailers.
This famous wood fence from the show Home Improvement had to have boards replaced 13 times in only 9 years. Our fences outlast wood 3 to 1 and are all backed by our extensive lifetime warranty. This month, save $1,000 on your project. Visit the website or call the number for your new fence today.
Building up the middle class will be a defining goal of my presidency.
She'll do it with new ideas to make middle-class life more affordable. New caps on the price of medicine. New investments in clean energy to bring down costs for families. And while Trump will cut taxes for the super rich, she'll cut taxes for the rest of us. A stronger middle class. A future we can afford. Climate Power Action and FFPAC are responsible for the content of this app.
Xavier Lucas was one of Wisconsin football's most highly touted newcomers, but no one expected the true freshman cornerback to make such a big impact right away. He had an unreal interception on one of the only 7 snaps that he played in his college football debut, already living up to the hype. Schools like Miami and Alabama really tried to pull him away from Bucky, but he says he always knew Wisconsin was home, and this just makes that decision even feel better.
Before that drive, Rico was like, since I'm a freshman, they're probably going to go at me, and that's what they did. But it was surreal. It was nothing like it. Definitely the highest point in my career.
He's a great athlete. We seen him since the day one of camp, day one of when he came in our summer. Just very poised, very calm, very patient, a great football player. And, he's going to do great things as a Badger.
And just a reminder to tune into this week's Wisconsin Huddle. Bryson Green stops by to talk all things Badger football with sports director Zach Hanley. The show airs at 6:30 on Friday right here on News 3 Now. Wisconsin volleyball is 0-3 to start the season, but it's not as if they fell off of a cliff. They're still the 6th-ranked team in the country. They just played 3 top 6 opponents to open the season. It's a challenge that pushed them to the brink, but also taught them the things that they need to know to beat the best. That's a lesson Kelly Sheffield would much rather his team learn in the first week of the season as opposed to the last.
It's easy to lose. It's easy for us to hang our heads and just say, well, shucks, we suck, and just like, that's it, not get better. It's hard to win that battle. It's hard to want to get back in the gym. It's hard to keep our heads held high and still have hope for this team. And I feel like this team is doing the hard thing. We like hard things, right? So even if we're not winning out there on the court right now, we're winning the battles that come after in practice, the mindset that happens after a loss.
Brewers hosting the Cardinals, and at some point these stop being Brewer highlights and just become Jackson Chourio highlights. The rookie is on fire of late, his 2nd homer in as many games, and as a 20-year-old, Jackson Chourio is now 1 homer away from having a 20-homer, 20-stolen-base season. That has only been done twice in MLB history, but it would be the Cardinals who had the last laugh. They'd need 12 innings to win it, and did it by a final score of 7-4. We'll be right back.
I was robbed. They tried to run me over with a getaway car. He almost killed me right over here. He was laughing as he fractured my skull.
Amanda's attacker was an illegal immigrant drug dealer, arrested twice before, but released by San Francisco DA Kamala Harris.
If Kamala Harris hadn't let him out, this never would have happened to me.
Kamala put violent illegals, convicted felons, back on the streets.
Kamala just doesn't care about protecting people like me.
Make America Great Again Inc. is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Okay, 500 deluxe garden gnomes. Wow.
I only meant to order 5. There's not enough money in my account for these. I'm gonna get charged.
2 things I just can't deal with: overdraft charges and garden gnomes. But your BMO Smart Advantage checking account gives you an extra day to avoid an overdraft fee.
Nice to see a bank cutting people some slack.
Well, mistakes happen, and we give you time to correct them.
So you don't like gnomes, huh? What about that one?
That one I like a lot.
BMO. Rewards Club members at Ho Chunk Gaming Madison can get a ticket for a promotional drawing by visiting the Rewards Club booth. Promotional drawings can be either physical or virtual tickets. Physical tickets will be placed in a drawing barrel, while virtual tickets can be redeemed at a promotional kiosk. Visit Ho Chunk Gaming Madison and grab your tickets at the Rewards Club booth today.
Ho Chunk Gaming Madison.
Who is she talking to?
I did know that back pain, foot pain come along with the job of waiting tables.
This is Tony.
Things that I've tried have failed.
And this is Tony's Good Feet story.
Before my arch supports, I felt defeated, but since getting the arch supports from the Good Feet store, I have had no pain, which still is kind of crazy to me. I'm more positive. It's like opening up a whole new life, like sunshine coming out. I would recommend it to anyone. You've tried everything that's not working, give it a try.
See how we can help you too at the Good Feet store.
Get an 11% rebate on everything at Menards. Check out our huge selection of carpet. Lutex Mills provides soft and luxurious carpet that's backed with unrivaled stain resistance and lasting durability. Trail Ridge carpet is now $139 per square foot after rebate. Create fresher, cleaner air with Damp Rid products. Control the humidity to inhibit mold and mildew in your space with a hanging bag moisture absorber. A 3-pack is only $8.89 after 11% rebate.
Save big money at Menards.
My day is packed. Client meetings,
patient rounds,
getting kids out the door.
But Eric Hovde thinks all women care about is Hollywood.
It's just deplorable. Sadly, with females, they spend too much time focused on what's going on in Hollywood.
Well, guess what, Eric Hovde?
We know you supported overturning Roe versus Wade.
And we know you'd vote for a national abortion ban, too.
Eric Hovde must think he knows better than us.
What is wrong with this guy?
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
Josh Spreiter, News 3 Now at noon. Moving forward.
Tonight. Sir, we need to get you back in the spotlight. What about a crime?
Colbert's back with Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. New tonight.
Finally, tonight, new photos are showing the dramatic decay occurring on the wreckage of the Titanic. These images taken in July by the RMS Titanic, an American company that has salvage rights to the doomed vessel. They show a previously intact railing around the ship's upper deck that has now fallen off. The 15-foot section now lies on the seafloor. The July expedition was the company's 9th since it first started exploring the wreckage in 1987. The Titanic wreckage sits on the floor of the North Atlantic Ocean where it sunk after hitting an iceberg, of course, back in 1912. Jacob returns now as we get one final check of the forecast.
Yeah, we're going to see a little bit of a warm-up, but still expecting fairly comfortable temperatures. Storms, maybe a few severe storms, but unlikely on Thursday. Then we're going to see a cool down for the weekend. 60s Saturday and Sunday. And then we're going to warm back up into the 70s for much of next week. It also is going to be fairly dry going forward after Thursday. It's really the only chance of rain.
All right, Jacob, thanks. Thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 10, folks. Have a great night.